Hello, Jolene in Fargo, North Dakota. My name is Philip Rouleau with Rultract, and I want to quickly go over the part that the surgeon has requested to use with his Rultract for the Nuss pectus procedure, and the two parts that I would suggest he use instead. Now, first of all, this is the 4100 40B that the surgeon has requested, and I'm going to explain why I don't think that this part will work better than the other two that I have here. Now, first of all, this is going to add additional height if that's what he was looking for. However, this could only be put on two ways. You can put it on here where it goes out toward the patient's feet, or like this where it would just extend out toward the patient's head. What it does not do is bring you out over the center of the pectus deformity, and I believe that's what you need to do. So although this piece does add additional height, it will not take you where you need to be in order to use it for the Nuss procedure. Now, this is another extender bar that we have, and as you can see, it does offer the same amount of height as the 40B. However, this piece will not only go on both ways that the 40B does, where we can extend out over the patient's head if we need to, or for some reason if we want to extend out toward the patient's feet, we can with this piece. But this will also allow you to go right out over the center of the patient's chest. And that's where you need to be to use the Rultract effectively for the Nuss procedure. Now, personally, I think that this is too much height to use the Rultract for the Nuss procedure. Even if you have an older Rultract that has a lower top post, you may be adding too much height here, and then you'll run out of cable with the Rultract system. So when you put your gearbox on, you pull this cable out, regardless of how big the patient is and what you're using to elevate the sternum, you may not be able to get down to the patient in order to elevate the sternum. So I feel that this is a little bit too much height for the Nuss procedure. Now, in most cases when we're operating on children, we don't even need additional height. But if you have an older Rultract system that's a little bit lower on the table, the surgeon might need that height. I would suggest, although this piece does take you out over the center of the table, like I said, I think it's too high. And he may have already seen all of these pieces and still want the 40B. And unfortunately, that's the only one that I have because we don't make that piece anymore. So what I would suggest here is the riser extender bar. This is the riser extender bar with the extended length. But this here will actually go on all of the ways that the 40B does. Again, we can extend out toward the patient's head, we can extend out toward the patient's feet, or we can go right over the center of the pectus deformity with about 3 inches of height here. So this, ideally, I think this is going to work the best to use even if you have an older Rultract system. Because once you put your gearbox on, you can see that the cable actually extends a lot lower down, obviously, toward the patient's chest. So this would be ideal. If you're looking for a little bit of additional height and you want to be right out over the center of the patient, I would recommend the 4100-39R, which is a riser extender bar. Thanks for taking the time to watch the video. I hope I didn't confuse you too much. Please call me or email me directly with any further questions. Thank you again for your support.